Let's talk about test preparation. All right, you got an assessment coming up on Thursday and Friday this week. I've got several resources here on the website for you to help you guys kind of figure this stuff out. If you look right here under local course objectives, actually backing up, here's our purpose right here. We're still working on this. How could food rather than drugs be used as a natural remedy to eliminate or alleviate or at least minimize these westernized diseases in our culture? And as a result of that, we've dove into several different avenues of biology. Now we're specifically learning about the human body response. All right, and we've gone through the normal digestive response. Now we're into the hormonal response. And according to SBU, you've got to build. Here are your three objectives: demonstrate knowledge of the general organization and functioning of the human body, understand that the cell is the basic structural and functional unit of all living organisms, and understand the major metabolic pathways occurring in living organisms. Now, that's pretty vague. So I created some objectives, local course objectives, that are specific to what we're learning about. This first link right here, you click on it, and it takes you to this page, and these are the foundations in endocrinology and hormone signaling. In other words, if you can't do this level 2 stuff, that's the foundational stuff, then you're going to have a hard time with the more unit-specific things we're going to be talking about later on. Uh, Again, do you know what those different glands are that are out there? Can you generally explain or describe what a gland is and the hormone, how hormones communicate using paracrine, autocrine signaling, what a hormonal cascade is, and how feedback loops are used to maintain and regulate hormone levels and other aspects of metabolism, like temperature and things like that? Can you explain the role and the importance of receptors and molecular shape and recognition in hormone signaling? And can you compare and contrast how a peptide hormone interacts with this receptor versus a steroid hormone? If you remember, that boils down to polarity. All right, so and I've got links and resources that pertain to those things. So speaking of those, going back over here on this page here, this first section is all about the endocrine system basics. All right, we've got anatomy and function and signaling. Here, this link right here will take you to the page we just looked at. But here's some links: endocrine system, anatomy, and function. I've got some diagrams with the different glands and kind of what they do. But for now, I just want, can you identify those different glands, what they are, if I give you a blank diagram of them? All right. Hormone signaling. Again, check this link out right here. It's got an annotated walkthrough. You got my ugly mug down here where you're looking at right now. And I'll go through these links with you. All right. Again, here's another annotated walkthrough. Going through some of these, comparing the different types of signaling using peptide versus steroid hormones. And then, of course, this very first link right here is great for learning about feedback loops and systems. Paul Anderson does a great job. He's way better than I am at creating these videos. So take advantage of those resources. Now, if you move on down here, now we're narrowing it down. We're getting specific. So we're taking this foundational knowledge that we gained up here using these links and resources, and we're applying it specifically to our problem at hand. We want to know how do macronutrients affect our glands and hormones. So in other words, once that food jumps into our bloodstream, what's the effect now? What happens after that? We've gone through digestion. Now we need to know what happens when it hits our bloodstream. So first thing we want to look at is the hormonal response. So these resources right here, these are links that take you to our, like I said, the objectives for the endocrine response specific to macronutrient intake. These are level 3 and 4 concepts because you're taking those foundational concepts I just looked at and you're applying it. Can you identify and explain the role of specific hunger-related hormones that I've outlined? I'm pretty much give you the ones I'm going to assess you over. Can you tell me what glands and tissues create them? This C1, 2, and 3 above, that means these are based off of those foundational concepts 1, 2, and 3. Explain the endocrine role of the pancreas in response to food intake and changes in blood levels of macronutrients. Which cells within the pancreas create the insulin versus the glucagon? Compare and contrast the role or function of insulin and glucagon and how they signal. Are they peptide hormones? Are they steroid hormones? What's the role of maintaining glucose homeostasis? And then can you compare and contrast these terms? Glycogenesis, we've got glycogenolysis, lipogenesis versus lipolysis, proteogenesis versus proteolysis, and then you got this concept of gluconeogenesis. And again, in class we'll talk about how to break down the words of it. And I've got annotated videos for you to check out too, so check those out because I go through a lot of this stuff during that time. Let's see here. So again, local objectives: explain the role of the pancreas, explain the hormonal cascade of events that are initiated by the elevated blood sugar levels. Take a look at so I've got the objective listed with the resources online you can use. Here are my annotated versions of them. Here's some term introduction because some of this stuff is used in these videos. Down here again, local objective, resource. Local objective listed here, resources to use. I've got some questions here. If you can answer those questions, you're going to be able to be fine on it. It'll help you meet the objectives. Again, local objective, resource to use, question to answer. All right. Here's the assignment from the other day. It says, in addition to what's listed below, make sure you guys are checking out these other links and refreshing and reviewing. This stuff doesn't just come naturally to people. Some it does, some it doesn't. But again, objective, resource. Make sure you get, this is a video with some questions attached to it. This is, I got the direction what you need to do here. Coming up, we're going to be reviewing some of these past concepts. Again, going back over these terms that I have posted above, talking about how these how disruptions in these hormone signaling can have an effect on your body, blood sugar regulation. We'll talk about we'll kind of discuss these hunger and hormones, that video you should have watched. And I've got another video here, if we have time, we'll take a look at, is sugar toxic? So be studying, be using these resources that I've got on here. I'm going to be adding a few videos as we go. I just want you guys to make sure you guys are staying on top of these things. Hope you guys have a great day. Peace.